Hi, this is a video about how an educator can mark attempts on an exam. Very similar process to the admin way of doing it. Some slight differences in how you actually get to that exam. So I'm logged in as an educator here. So remember, educators have slightly less permissions than admins. They can only view and moderate things, and the only changes they can make are actually marking those attempts. So as an educator, when you load the platform, you'll most likely have this user page as your home page, and this shows you all the groups for which you have permission to moderate. So what we want to do is find an exam to mark now. How do we do that? So I'm going to find my user group that has had the exam set to them. I'm going to go into exams. From here, I'm going to look for the exam that I'm ready to mark. So these are all the exams that the user group's done, and I am interested in this marking exam. This takes me to the exams module. I wouldn't have any permissions to make changes to the exam, but once an attempt's ready to be marked, I am actually able to go and do that. So I'm going to find the attempt that I want to mark. So why not? Let's do NEDs. So I'm going to select NED and I'm going to use the mark attempt button. This is going to open the marking modal. From here, you can see that I can leave feedback to candidates on questions that are marked by the system, but I can't actually change those marks. So this wasn't correct. And I'm going to save that. All the questions that need marking will have a little blue dot to them. The grey ones have already been marked, but you can leave feedback if you want to. So from here, I'm going to go through and I'm going to check I'm happy. So I'm quite happy with all of those there. So I'm going to award the marks like this. You'll see if I try and order more marks than is approved, I'm going to get an error because I must stick to the mark scheme or the marks per question. I can leave feedback for the candidate. Oops. Leave feedback for the candidate here. So this was a great answer, well done. And I can save that as I go. And if I just whiz through now, you can see a standard question. You can see a standard question that doesn't have a mark scheme, and that's just where I award those marks or credits. So I'm going to be very generous and assume this candidate has done very well. Carry on going through until you have got rid of all the blue dots and the entire thing has been marked. We'll give them 1, why not? We'll give them 8, 2, great answer, well done. And I've left some feedback there as well. All the blue dots gone, so this means that this attempt has now moved into a completed state. When it's in the completed state, it can still have changes done to it by other educators. It just can't, you can go back and make those changes. When you move it into the finalized state, this is you locking in the changes. Now, no one else can make changes once it's been finalized. You probably want to use finalize if you want to release all the results at the same time, but you have a team of people marking just so people know and don't go and override what you've done. Once it's been finalized, it's then ready for release. If you have multiple in the same state, you can do the same thing to it there. I only have one that's ready to go at the moment. So I am going to just make sure that I'm happy actually with the page. So it's locked at the moment. So when I go back and release those results, we should see the change there. Lovely, so Ned will have got an email that his results have been marked. If we go back on here now, you can see that the results page for him that you get to preview here is now loaded. You can go into the questions, you can see which he got right and wrong. He can expand the mark scheme and see exactly where they got the marks, and they can see any feedback that you've left for them. All right, so that's pretty much everything for marking from the educator side. Just remember, it's really important to go through the user group to get to the exam.